Good morning, Georgia, and everybody else. This morning I'm going to be doing, and this is a continuation of, or in addition to a pre-recorded video I've already got on YouTube. Just decided to do this one live. The tenant told me that her valve was leaking and just constantly running, so we're just going to go ahead and swap that one out. It's faster to do that than to try to diagnose them. And so what you can see here is this is what we're going to be swapping out over here. We're just going to remove this, replace the hose, and we're going to keep everything else that you see in there. And this is a product I'm using. I love it. It's $8, and as you can see, it's incredibly simple, really just 4 parts. So to start, all I'm going to do is make sure that the water valve is off, and it is. And then I'm just going to drain the bowl by just pulling the lever. Letting this flush all the way through. That's done. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the actual connector that holds this in place, which is over here. That's why I have the drip pan here, because there's going to be water that comes off. And so we're ready for that. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this portion. You're going to have some water coming out, so you might want to have some towels ready if you were to do this. I like to turn it upside down. Now, if you had water constantly running, that means your valve is bad. And at that point, I would recommend putting this back on. Sometimes tightening this screw here can help address a constantly running valve. But you don't want to over tighten this, because then you're going to break the watertight seal and you're going to need to replace the whole thing. So just tighten a little bit more, see if that fixes the issue. And if it doesn't, you're going to need to swap out the entire valve. And for doing that, you will need to know where your main water shut-off valve is and turn that off, and then make that swap. So if you're not comfortable doing that, that's when you would call a plumber or look up online how to do this, because it's also not a difficult job as well. Okay, now that we've got this loose, the next part is I'm just going to get that out of the way, and I'm going to remove this here and this nut that you see there, and I've got a nifty tool to do that. This comes as part of one of the tools that that come with a kit, and so I'm going to try to see. That one didn't do the trick, so I'm going to use my pliers here just to get this loose. Doesn't take too much effort to get it loosened up. I'm glad I'm going to be replacing this, because this one's being a little annoying to get off. There we go. And then that just comes right off. Okay. I'm just going to put all this stuff in there. And now that this is loose, there's nothing keeping the valve stuck together. So now I'm just going to go ahead and remove it. First, I'm going to get this loose, and then it just comes right off. You get the water running. Let that fully drain, which is why we have that. I'm just going to put this on the side. And now we get to put the new one in. Very simple. You want to have this little tube pointing the direction of your drain valve. And you're going to want to make sure it's about 3 inches higher than the valve itself. And so hopefully y'all are able to see this well. This one is about 3 inches already high. If I'm going to make it just a little bit more, and do that by rotating this just a little bit, you can see it kind of extends. It's really simple mechanics. And we've got the washers here. Remove, keep this all in place, and put that in here. And what I'm checking now is I just want to make sure that this doesn't go way too high up. I'm just going to make it just a little bit longer as well. And that should do the trick. It's about definitely 3 inches higher than the drain valve still underneath this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up now. While I'm holding it, I'm just going to come down and take the new one that comes with it. It's got a lot better grip than the previous one. Flat side, you want that facing up. And then we just simply tighten this puppy here. Now, I'll be honest, I always get which direction I gotta twist it, so Kind of just takes me a little bit of time to get it. But then once we get it tightened, make sure that the tube, the opening where the tube's going to be connected, still faces the same direction as, and I'm still tightening at the bottom, so that's what I guess y'all should be seeing me do that. Okay, that should do the trick. Now that we've got that connected, I'm going to go ahead and this is where we're just simply going to connect the hose through here, make it feed down there. This one's pretty short already as is, so I'm just going to eyeball it and say I'm going to want to cut this thing just slightly past it. I've already taken holding it where I want to cut it, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a simple cut there. Don't want to over cut because then you really can't do much to fix that. And you can see here all I'm doing is just kind of threading this in there. You might require a little bit of force, but it really shouldn't be too much. And then I'm going to connect the other side to this clip here, which allows me to then bend it in and hold it in place and have the water flow into the drain valve. So let's go ahead and clip this in here. Again, not too much terrible effort. And now I'm just going to try to like open the clip a little bit and slide it in. Okay, there you go. Now that's gonna allow that water to go in. One of the things once I turn the water back on is we're gonna potentially adjust how high or how low the water fills up using this knob here. If I turn it counterclockwise, it says it's gonna be less water. Clockwise, it's going to be more water. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and test this out. Reconnect our water line to here. And again, I am horrible at the whole which direction do you turn. People say, you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but my brain is just not very good at remembering, so I kind of struggle with it. But once you get it going, we're all good. Now, same thing with this. You don't want to over tighten it, so no tools. Always just hand tighten. These things have a watertight washer, and if you over tighten, that water seal gets broken, then you'll start seeing leaks. So just hand tighten that. Not too terrible. And now we're going to open up the water line. Barely heard it go through. And we're going to see the water fill up now. And we'll just keep an eye and make sure the water level is appropriate. It needs to be below the drain valve here so that you don't have water constantly flowing into it. So I'll probably want it to be around here. Now, when I look at this, frankly, this toilet could use a new drain valve that might be a little bit higher on the water line. Usually the toilet tubs tell you where the water line is. This one doesn't have it. But I see most of them definitely being higher than what this is. But it's a functioning toilet. It'll get the job done. I like to make sure that there's no leaks here. No leaks taking place. All that's going well. So we're just going to sit here, and if I could watch the comments, happy to interact with y'all. I'll definitely check out if there's any feedback, questions, thoughts, criticisms, trolls, really everything I enjoy reading. So by all means, put whatever you want on the discussion portion here. All right, still filling up. Lovely weather today, right? Yeah, it's getting a little close now to that drain line, so it looks like it'll probably go a little over. We'll need to tell the look at that. That is actually right on the money. Didn't go over, but it's getting close, so I am going to tell the tank water knob to go a little less water. And again, that's just a counterclockwise motion. I'll just do 3 turns. And I like to flush it. Again, I didn't really touch the flapper or the drain valve. We just switched to fill valve, so if I flush, there shouldn't be no leaks. But, you know, let's just triple check it. Everyone's happy. We'll see the water fill back up. And, yeah, I think we are good to go here. Now in this duplex property that I own and manage, I'm also at the back going to check the water pressure. I am noticing that the fill valve, it's brand new. You might have caught it. There's a little bit of a leak going on the left. And that could just be a sign that maybe the water pressure is too high. Usually you want it to be between 60 to 80 psi. I might actually keep the live feed going and show y'all how I measure that. So stay tuned if you are actually curious to see that. But yeah, this is working. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this as is. And I'm going to go measure that water pressure. Let me just get my keys here. And hopefully I can find it easily. Before I get my tools, I gotta make sure I see. All right, so there's our water hose valve, so we'll be using that. And let me get my water pressure measurer. Hopefully I have it available. So that's what this looks like, y'all. Very simple device. You can get at Home Depot, not too expensive, like $8-10, maybe 15, 20. And all it does is measure the water pressure. All right, here in Georgia, well, most in the US, we had a winter freeze, so I put one of these covers on. I have a YouTube video that shows how to, shows about that. If you're interested in watching it, how to winterproof your various valves that are, or pipes that are exposed to the elements. Important to avoid a pipe bursting. So same thing, let's go ahead and get this on here. I'll also struggle yet again with the whole getting this hooked in there. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, all that bullshit, all that stuff. PG-13 here. Okay. So once you got it in there, all you do is turn the water on. It's 120. So this one, it's high pressure. I'm gonna wanna probably get someone to take a look at the pressure regulator valve, PRV. I'll actually show you where that is. I'll see if I can get access to it. This is a duplex, so each unit has their own. And yes, the water pressure definitely is high. So that could cause fixtures to break. It could cause all sorts of issues. So we're gonna make a plan for the future to replace that. That'll probably be another video, frankly. I know that in this property, that PRV probably is right next to the water heater. Let me see if I can turn on the lights. And sorry if y'all are not getting a good angle at things, but that's what this is. And I can actually tell it's really accessible, so I might not need to replace it. All I'm gonna do is rotate this and continue measuring the water pressure. So all this does is precisely determine how much pressure the water needs to be at to deliver it to all the rest of your house and fixtures, faucets, sinks, you name it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mess with that. But since we're done with the fill valve project, I'm gonna go ahead and drop off the live. Appreciate everyone joining. Look forward to taking a look at the comments and the discussion. So hope everyone has a good rest of their Monday.